Listen,
That's the minute I stopped paying for parking.
I heard a great one. There used to be a badge, a commercial 15-minute grace badge on vehicles. This is 22 years ago. Mercer was managing Max, and one of the guys was servicing one of the machines, came in, real Dublin. He says, "For fuck's sake," he said, "not a fucking Barney." He says, "This fucking badge with the fucking." So anyway, so I got into my van, I give him the fucking answer. I have 50 minutes grace, don't be fucking annoying me, go away. Passing me, that's somebody else, another commercial traveller, rolls in him. He said, "Fuck him," he says. He was too fucking stupid. They went to guard. No, he was too short for the guards and too stupid for the priest. Fuck him. Which is very true. Right.
Power rush.
How we go? Was that being recorded? But I use the F word. I don't do that on air. Orla doesn't. And
I'm a lady.
And Orla wouldn't understand such vocabulary. Go on, do it then.
My kids
anyway, you're very welcome to the Salvation Show. And just to let you know, you can subscribe to the show because a little button at the bottom there, you see it. And if you can, please subscribe to us. I know you're watching and listening and all that. But anyway, there's myself and Alvaro's here, and we're joined by a lovely lady, a very good friend of ours, a well-known radio presenter, a well-known Dundalk FC promoter,
Mum.
foster mum.
Absolutely.
And so many. We couldn't get her, so Orla said she'd come in instead.
Yeah. I was like, who's lovely? My kids will not use that word for me.
Orla Crilly.
Orla Crilly.
Thank you so much, guys. Great to be here.
I'm from one who knows. Always fabulous.
Always.
How are you?
Lie. Good. Really busy. Surprisingly.
Give us
God, where did I start?
Give us a day today.
Right. Do you know what? I was thinking about walking up the road. I was like, right, going to talk to the lads. I mean, you could go into the specifics of the jobs and the different things, but, let's talk about the energy you put out into the world. Let's talk about attitude, to life. I think maybe women sometimes hold themselves back a little bit. They don't push themselves forward enough. Looking at me, people think, oh, that's not one for her, but it's definitely been me at different stages, and it's a gradient. I think women need to just get up more and go, do you know what, Shag, you look at some men in big roles and big jobs, and you think, how the hell did they get into that? And I just think women need to step up more and realise they can do it.
I don't have. We'll just leave that there, will we?
Yes.
That's very true. Absolutely.
Just believe because they're a man and they just think about the world a different way, and that they should,
wow.
And that women they're just really reticent about stepping up.
I think that's getting better, Orla.
Yes, but not
There's
enough.
still a way to go. There's always a way to go.
Yeah.
I remember somebody citing above all people the late Baroness Thatcher, Margaret, leader of the Tories.
Not a shy one.
What a wonderful example she was to lady politicians. She didn't have one female in her cabinet.
No.
She was like Lady Macbeth, unsex me. She did not regard herself as a lady, a woman. She knew she was in a man's game and would not have the feminine weakness around her. She didn't support any other women in politics.
But that's funny, and that's how she got to power. She used being a woman to get in and completely threw it behind her the minute she was in.
Now, her earlier life, she fought and she battled, and that has to be admired. Now, don't get me wrong, not fond of the woman or the politics, but her tenacity as a young married woman back in the 50s, fighting against the like of Ted Heath, that has to be admired. But the fact that she didn't support any other female candidates, she didn't employ anybody female on her on her staff, on her immediate staff, that is. It shows you that, yes, it's commendable a woman got to that position. Arguably, one of the highest positions on the planet at that time when Britain had some power.
Yeah.
But no women around her.
Yeah.
Gone.
And then look at New York and look at the politicians, AOC, is that, am I saying the right name? And they have a little band of female politicians who all work together and all support each other.
Wonderful.
I'm not sure that's probably common across the world in world politics.
Have Marjorie Greene on the other side and Bobbitt. We won't mention that.
No, we don't talk about Bobbitt.
Right, so tell me about, and I love it, tell me about the energy going forward and how you're using and bottling that energy in what you're doing now.
I have a tattooed on my back. It says, "Be the change you want to see in the world," and it's on my coffee table in my house. That is my life's mantra. So I look at stuff and things that I enjoy, things that I'm passionate about, whether it be, having a better environment around us, having a nicer community, passionate about League of Ireland, passionate about raising kids, passionate about music. I just do it. I don't really stop to question, should I do this? Is this a good idea? How will I fit it in? I tend to just throw myself into things and worry about how it's going to get done later. So half the time I feel like I'm failing at a lot of different things, but I'm trying, and that's all. And I want my kids to see that I'm trying, and they can make a difference.
And your lexicon vocabulary, I can't isn't used that frequently.
No, and a lot of people will throw, I'll always have an end goal of things I want to achieve. There'll always be something in my head, and I'll have some plans to do it. And then people, well, you can't do it this way. So I used to say this to my ex-husband, don't give me obstacles, give me solutions, Okay, so we can't do it that way. How can we do it? I just see the end game,
you so much.
And just, the goalpost will always move.
I had a conversation earlier today with a very good friend of mine from Scotland, who's a spiritual healer and medium.
I am also that, by the way.
And I just love, sorry, darling, I might do that wrong again. I'm not used to it. I haven't done this before. And I always we just chat. We just chat. And when I'm speaking with her, as now I'm getting from you, when I'm speaking to you, you almost get a clarity of vision. And that you go, oh. And I can understand when you're talking about energy. Really can. Because I can also nominate myself saying, I am my worst enemy. I am my self-assassin. I am my own cop. I've done this to myself all the time. All the time.
Self-sabotage.
Self-sabotage.
Okay.
All the time. And I've always said, maybe not, maybe so. And I've done countless editions where I said I shouldn't have got that part. I've been on set and said they really should recast it on myself. I mean, that's bad.
Wow. Your inner dialogue isn't your own champion.
No, it isn't. So I must be the observer. I have to come out of myself and observe this.
Okay.
The avatar needs.
So you're detaching from your reality?
No, from my avatar. I need to look at myself and go, hang on a minute, what's being filled here? How am I filling myself, my energy?
Okay.
But it's funny we should talk about this because I've just had the most wonderful hour and a half, 2 hours of Virginia. Just chatting.
I didn't see you in Avatar.
I was a rather large blue one.
What part of your body was blue?
Yeah.
You see that now? You see how the Crilly ones come up with the paddy man. But I get you.
No,
I get you. I get you where you're at.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Here he goes.
But you exercise your demons every week on that stage because you're a musician.
Yeah.
And you get to. But you do throw out energy.
Oh, you do? Yeah, of course. But
that's a
His energy is his comedy. His vibe is about that and making people
his
smile.
Comedy is his mask. His energy. His comedy is his mask. Oh, I believe that. He's funny. But that's all protected.
I masked before the pandemic.
His energy, your energy is on stage.
Well, it is.
The stuff that comes out of you and the buzz you get from you.
Yeah, you do, yeah.
It's incredible. And I think we all have that.
I think everybody has that.
We all find something that energizes us, that pushes us forward, that allows us to shine.
Yeah.
I think that's...
I wouldn't do stuff if I didn't feel energized by it, if I wasn't really, really enjoy it. I mean, I can work my ass off, and when I take something up, I would just go to the ends of the earth to do it. But I have to, but that will be fun for me. It isn't like work.
But you don't give in to the tiredness.
Obviously, because I'm not getting paid for any of it.
That's what I'm saying, but you don't give in to the tiredness. You don't give in to the tiredness. God, I could do this.
I'm more energy because I'm doing it.
So you're able to channel that.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Someone said, as people know that I'm retired now, people say,
retired?
What is retirement? I says, a busy life. Because you get more, and you just mentioned it there, you said you don't get paid for it. But you get self-esteem and everything for it.
Yeah.
So bring it back now. So exactly what are you doing? And I know the energy is very important. So what are you at the moment?
My newest role is chairperson of Dundalk FC Supporters Club, the 1903.
Brilliant.
Great.
The job that nobody wanted. I got it by default, but I had already started up the Lily White Ladies. I was part of the startup of that supporters club, and I just thought there's stuff needs to be done. Everyone knows what needs to be done in Oriel, but I want to be part of the change. Listen, we've had billionaire owners come in. We've had great success on the pitch, and nothing has brought us any closer to having the grounds that all the fans deserve. So what I see as my role and the committee's role would be to improve the match day experience for all the fans. So anything that relates just to that, you know, whether it be a roof over their head, a nicer seat, a nicer place to have a drink afterwards, activities in the lounge, pre and post game, anything, you know, getting to meet players, meet and greets, all of that stuff that enhances the fans' experience. You know, so from the little things, I've been up with my kids scrubbing urinals, scrubbing toilets. There's a very small amount of people that work in Oriel, and they are so stretched. They just can't do it all, and they work really, really hard to do everything. But it would be impossible. You know, there's not enough money, and the things are tough. So I went up and I've said to everyone, I said, what can I do to help you, to make your life easier? You know, how can I help you in your role? So I'm starting there. I want people to see that I'm a very hands-on person, that I'll get my hands dirty and get in, and dragging the kids behind me. And I want them to see what it takes, you know, to work at stuff. But I'm there for the small things, but I'm there for the big things. We're going to need to bring in some, you know, big creative thinking ideas. I'm working at the moment. I am creating a membership package. So I'm out every day talking to all the businesses in Dundalk, seeing how I can promote them for free through the Supporters Club to enhance their business. And then also they offer a little deal or a kickback. So today, you know, some really great ones like 10% off Crown Plaza worldwide. The Motor Factor place down on Coes Road, Laverty's, they'll be doing discounts, paint shops, hairdressers, beauticians, insurance companies, Emerald Tile. Everything. Every time you turn around, you're going to have a new plastic card, and you'll whip it out and you'll be like, there you go, I'm after saving. So for your €24 that you're going to pay for the year, I'm going to put hundreds if not thousands of euro back into the hands of the fans. So my thinking that is, I really want to bring the whole fans together. I want to draw more people into the Supporters Club, and after that we will be going, right, let's sit down together, let's see how we can fundraise to pay for the bigger jobs that we can do, you know, for ourselves, you know. So if you have a roof over your head, it's going to be over your head, your kids' head, your grandkids' head. It's not just money that's you don't see. Everything that you put in, you are going to feel the value of it back for years to come, and your family.
Brilliant. Where did this drive for community? Where did this drive come from in you, do you think? Can you pinpoint it?
Maybe family, maybe mum and stuff like that. You know, she was my parents, you know, they fostered before I did. And she would have been quite community orientated. Me personally, it just suits my energy. That's my vibe. I am here to make the world a better place and to improve the lives of everyone around me in whatever way I can do that. It's never about me, even though some people think, it's just you want to put yourself out. It really is not. I don't care.
What a wonderful mantra.
It's all about making the world a better place. And when I'm on my deathbed in years to come, I want to look back and go, cool, it is a slightly better place, you know, and hopefully I want to inspire people around me to be their best selves as well, and for them a little ripple effect out into the world, which I think I can see in my foster kids.
I don't think we're aware of that. We're not aware of that ripple, that effect, that cause effect.
Yeah.
What you do has ramifications, good and bad, but mostly we're
every conversation, every minute has in your day.
Yeah.
You know, you can be walking along and someone could be feeling suicidal, could be very depressed, and you could walk on and you could just smile at that person, and that could be the reason they don't go home and,
maybe,
you know, and
absolutely.
Things, you know, we can have.
What Dolly Parton said, if you see someone else smile, give them yours.
Yeah.
I just think it's a lovely expression.
Oh,
turn that frown upside down.
Yeah.
Dolly's a bit of a champion in our history.
I do.
You know, and I'll go back to you again. And I've seen you gigging over the years and years and years. But you know yourself, when you get them on the floor and you see them smile or shouting at you, I mean, that in itself.
That is, I remember in the band business, you used to, when you're on stage, and I remember one guy saying to me, I was one night, I did a toothache, and I said, oh God, I should have went to the dentist or whatever it is. And I went on the stage. He says, well, I tell you, he says, you're here for 2 hours. They don't know you have a toothache. They don't care. vegetarian.
Yeah.
But you're here to make them happy for 2 hours.
Absolutely.
The problems they still have when they walk in the door. When they walk out, they'll still meet the problem.
Yeah.
But you took it away for 2 hours.
For 2 hours.
Exactly.
And also brandy.
Ice is grand. And he says, why don't you just take your teeth out and put them in your pocket? No, but it is, it's great. As you say, if you walk down the street and smile at someone, that you've done something.
I a couple of years ago, before COVID, and everything's post and pre-COVID, isn't it amazing? We're working it out.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to leave the house in the valley. I'm going to walk up to the radio. And it wasn't Sunday because it was a busy enough day. I don't know what. Anyway, I was walking up to the radio, and I said, I'm going to say hello to everybody that I meet. Everybody.
Yeah.
And even if they glance in my way, but once they're towards me or beside me, I'm going to say hello. And the reactions and the mixed reactions were hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
From genuine surprise to elation to disgust.
Yeah, I get that.
Oh, the full gamut. It's really
Well,
hard.
that's just from your wife.
But that,
And he didn't leave the house yet.
seriously. But that was a mad experiment.
Yeah. It
Holy
happened,
mother
yeah.
of God.
It's the
Wow,
same.
interesting.
It's the same,
Yeah.
It's the same on a bus. I will not get up. If there's someone behind me, I will not get up until they pass. Because you're given the right of way.
Okay. If they're all getting off at the same
But
time.
then you get some people say, well, you think there's something wrong with me? I said, no.
Yeah.
You
Were you reared that way?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you had to, Jesus, you had to be reared that way. You never.
Everybody with a title.
I remember, I'm not going to mention any names, but I can still feel it. We were sitting out on the channel outside our house.
More
In,
about it.
oh, yeah, in St. Nicholas Avenue. And, oh, God. In St. Nicholas
Run some sound
Avenue.
now.
This is way back.
Is this Foley sound?
Yeah. This is way back in the late 60s. And we were sitting out, it was about 5 of us sitting there, odd fellas, during the summer, in your khaki trousers.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah. And your sloppy Joe
What's Sloppy Joe?
t-shirt.
Oh,
That's what they were known as before they were called t-shirts, sloppy Joes.
okay. Right.
Because he used to slap all over them. But I remember this guy coming home from the pub, and he was sort of taking 2 sides of the road. In fact, he went home by rail. But he was taking 2 sides of the road, and one of the guys slagged him. And I can still, to this day, feel the numbness on my ear from my mother. And it just, oh my God, like she didn't hit anyone else, just hit me in. How dare you speak to a person like that? And that's the way it was. And you were sent to your room. There was no Xboxes. There wasn't even shoe boxes in the room.
And you were in a bungalow, so there was no books there.
Oh, you couldn't run upstairs and say I had enough because you were in a bungalow. But that's the way it was. Respect. You
Respect,
always
yeah.
had respect. And I love to see kids.
But that feeds into
Of course it does.
service.
Yeah.
Community service.
Yeah, and respecting people as
Well,
well.
yeah, community
You can be
service,
sit down in
what you
your
do.
committees and people can have very different points of view, and I can't say I've done it right all the time, but I try. But you have to, definitely not perfect. But you have to try, and even at times where I went, you have to walk away, have a little word yourself, and come back with a remembering to respect people.
You do. But into fostering.
Yeah,
How many kids have you fostered?
10.
Do you have the 10 now, or is it just over the time?
No, so if someone's asked me how many kids have you, I will say 12. I raised my sister after my parents passed away very young. Mum died at 45 of breast cancer and Dad 52 of a brain hemorrhage.
Holy God.
So I was in America. I came home, and as the oldest of 8, I felt it was my duty to go and raise her. She was 10, so I raised her till she was 18. She went off to college. I had my son in the meantime. And then I set my first foster child, who 13 years later is still with me. So she's the first of 10. So they range in ages now. They're from 24, 25 right down to the youngest would be 9. So in the house, I only have 3. I've never been so quiet because most of that time, and I'm a single parent as well. Sure, who'd come in? They'd be terrified. I'd have 6 kids in the house for 5 or 6 of those years. So it's been busy. So 3 in the house now. 1 is special needs. And then there's another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another 5 around town that I'd still have a lot to do with, and then there's a few don't really get to see too much there, and then some that are just they're in Drogheda and stuff like that. So kind of a little bit spread out. But I'd have 8 kids that would be regularly.
The energy you have.
Yeah, I suppose.
You do. You do. You absolutely do. So apart from the work you're doing now with Oriel Park and the kids, what else are you at now?
So Pierce Park Resident Association, I'm the secretary. So that came out about a couple of years ago.
Hence the discos in the garden.
That was me.
I was just going to say that.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, I love music. It's a big passion as well. So, no, that was kind of a me thing, to be honest with you. Before Residents Committee came on, there was me randomly going around doing stuff like through COVID, discos in the front garden, bingo, quizzes. We'd pop up and do some stuff. Like one Valentine's Day, I said, right, people are probably, I think it must have been through COVID. They're probably a bit isolated and not feeling the love. So me and the kids made all the little red cups, and we put in little heart chocolates and a little flower into each one. So I did about 60 of them. And I said, right, let's walk down the street and we'll knock whoever comes out to the door. We'll just hand them a little thing. And, people opened the door and said, this is the only thing I'll get today. And the look, the joy in people's faces, it was brilliant. And then another time, I said, let's get little Easter eggs and go around and put them on people's doors. So we went through, through load the doors and put little Easter eggs in everyone's door. So they didn't. Some people were there, some people weren't. They didn't know where they came from.
That was
Easter
nice.
Bunny.
Yeah.
So it's about putting joy into the world and putting that lovely energy out, because you don't know who it's going to be important to.
Yeah, but you'd love to think it was appreciated, but that's not the point. That you might have brightened someone's day.
Yeah.
And whether they appreciate it or not, because there might, whatever state they're in themselves, it's still done.
Yeah.
You cannot withdraw a gift because someone at the time doesn't feel or seem appreciative.
Yeah, even if they're wondering.
Absolutely.
Where it came from.
Push it out, because you're not looking for a comeback. You just want it to go out.
Yeah, it's all about that ripple again.
Yeah, well, you're not going to see someone coming after you leaving the Easter egg.
No.
They're coming down.
But I love that when
nice.
I walk away and I'm creeping away and I'm like hee hee hee, and I'm giggling to myself, and I've enjoyed that experience, and I don't need to see the rest of it.
Yeah, you don't need to see the aftermath.
No.
But
so the Pierce Park, then we've done a lot of planting around the front of Pierce Park, just along the wall.
The substation.
They're a separate group. So Pierce Park is very blessed. We have 2 community groups doing great work there.
So you've done those at the lanes,
the sunflowers last year. So I spent 3 months growing sunflower seeds in my front room. I grew them all from scratch, and I took over the whole room. In fact, I was waiting to do up the room, and I couldn't until I got the whole. Until I got all the stuff out of my front room and I planted. At the moment, I started last year, but I'm working on Ireland's first medicinal dog garden. So that area along the brewery wall is used by a lot of dog walkers.
Yeah.
And and I have dogs now since COVID as well. And I've looked at what dogs are good for medicinally for dogs. So dogs will stop and start eating stuff like you'll see them eating grass for worms, you'll see them eating different things. So along that whole wall, so I've started growing them from seed as well. So they'll be going in soon. For
example, what are you growing? I'm intrigued with that.
So the lavender, chamomile.
Right.
God, sorry, I should have looked it up before I came. Is there slippery elm? Yeah, there's about 10 or 11 things.
Slippery Allen.
We all know a few slippery Allens. So and there'll be little signs just telling you what each. So if you see your dog eating something, it might go, okay, that maybe there's a kidney issue, maybe there's something else there. It'll be, so it's never, there's
that's brilliant.
So there's nothing. This will be the first one in Ireland. So I'll be starting now. I had to get a little job done in my back garden. It got finished yesterday, and I'm putting up a greenhouse.
For dogs.
Yeah,
love it. And is that from now? Is that the railway line up to the?
Yeah, so the brewery wall.
That wall there, yeah. When you come out of Icehouse Hill, along the Black Pass.
Yeah.
Murray Higgins at the front. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, right along there. It's half done. We put in a lot of earth already. I got people who were digging up gardens and stuff. I said, give me the ground. And from O'Brien's garden, they came and put it down. And I'd already started. I planted some fruit bushes last year, and I've lavender and stuff all in already. But I've a few stuff I'm still growing from seed. It's not fully finished yet. And that wall, the bloody wall. wanted to clean up the area, make it a little bit brighter. So I said, right, I need to power hose this wall. So what ended up happening was, after looking at loads of different ways to do it, I have my own power hose now. 15 green wheelie bins of water from Laura's house, the chairperson's house, halfway up Pierce Park. I had to drag them all down to cross the whole green to the brewery wall, and then drop it in and power hose the whole wall. It took me a couple of days. Then the whole paint. A few people came on board and said, "We'll give you a hand with the paint," and they didn't really see it through. They found the wall is really heavily. Heavily stippled, and it's very rough. So people came along.
A long brush.
Yes, but everyone came along didn't. They lasted a day or two, and they were like, "Oh, that's too much. That's too much. I can't do it." And so I was sitting looking at this wall, getting madder and madder looking at it, because I see something, a job in front of me. I can't rest till it's done. You're driving past it every day. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Give me that paint back." And I went down with one little stipple brush this size and stippled the whole wall, 27 meters of it by hand by myself.
There's a quicker way. Apart from
spraying, I have a sprayer now.
Apart from spray, if you get
someone else do.
They're very light sweeping brushes.
Right.
And then you put.
That's why you use a whitewash.
You put your stuff in, but you mix it with some white spirits to loosen.
I have whitewashed walls before, but this wall is so heavy and deep.
Yeah, if you go across it, it runs down through it, and all you do is go over it.
Well,
where were you last year, Paddy?
Where was you?
I done my own at the house. Honestly, but didn't bother me like
terribly happy.
Thank you.
No, but seriously.
Yeah, because they only live next door. No, but it's some simple like
you have to get stuck in, and then there's planters. The community. I started the community herb garden that got finished last year, so it's kind of hidden behind the tree line. But I got a chap to help me built our own planters out of pallets. So we had just 3 or 4 of them on the wall there, and then I also designed another. It spells out the word peace on the wall, and I got 2 litre milk bottles. I sprayed them all copper, and it has a built-in water harvesting system. So the 2 litres, I cut the top off and then put them on the top, and they gather water. So you can either twist them to the side to pour the water down, the rainwater that's gathered.
Do you relate to Valerie Single on Blue Peter?
And I
saw you in that annual. Brilliant.
Have you a badge?
And then brilliant. Or else you can open the bottle top and let the water drip down to the water to all below. So that's one part of it. And then so then I'd go around and harvest it, cut them with my scissors, and then put them into like brown paper bags, and then drop them around to all the doors of the people in Pierce Park. So about 50 or 60 houses last year got herbs from the herb garden, and I left my own street to last because I didn't want to look biased. So they were probably all looking at me, I never got an offer. But you'll be the first ones this season, so yeah, that'll be going again.
People
could do with a hand, to be honest with you.
People don't see.
Well, that's just be a call out.
Yeah. Maybe to other estates.
I do need, just grab a group of friends. I love watching the tidy towns guys walking around. There could be just 3 or 4 people, and they just go to an area and they clean it up, and away they go. I admire them. I always kind of like all their posts and stuff like that, and that's all you got to do.
Yeah. It's simple, and it keeps the player. There's a lot of great tenants associations out there.
Oh yeah, I've heard of one. What's that one? They celebrated. They had a big birthday last year.
Yeah, Seneca's Avenue.
Denag.
But what they do, you pay in every weekend if it's someone's birthday to go, and if they get a voucher every Christmas. And
okay.
And how much is a week? It's normal, isn't it?
It's about 400 quid a week.
You get a Ferrari when you retire.
You get a spin in a Ferrari. No,
they're good. They actually had this when we were starting up. They're very good.
Yeah, they keep everywhere nice and clean,
Yeah.
And I think it's great because tennis is so. I remember the one now where I'm living in Marion Park. There was variety shows and everything.
Wow, okay.
And the great photographs of it. And there was one night I went to do you remember the Millennium Show?
Yes. I
went with, my wife was in it. She was originally from Marion Park, and they were in the sort of Tilla Girls. But they appeared on the shows, 89 I think it was.
It was. Joe Martin.
Joe Martin compared it, Lord rest.
Millennium year.
Yeah, and I was sitting, I had my 2 sons. And I think the child.
89, when was Gavin born?
Leave it with me. But
Do you know Paddy wasn't around?
Oh, God.
he's 30.
Don't worry, son.
No,
Child line.
he's 33. He wouldn't be born there, would he?
80, 88, 89, no.
No.
I know, he was an infant.
Yeah.
Probably a baby.
Yeah.
One.
And I was sitting in the front row and I looked over and the orchestra was there. There was Kitty Martin, Charlie Flynn, Dougie Stewart, I think, on drums. And Charlie Flynn turned around and he said, "Are you off tonight?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "We were looking for a bass player everywhere."
Are you serious?
I ended up going down to my house taking the bass guitar and I played in the orchestra with him. And it was fantastic, the stories and everything. And there's lovely photographs that you see now on Facebook and Talking to Town.
Lovely videos.
Of all the varieties, the shows that were going on between Clark's Factory and PJ Carroll's and
The
all
firms,
these.
Yeah, the firms.
All
it
the
was sort of
firms.
like what we used to do years ago. The pop, top of the...
Pub
no.
Drama.
Nationally. We do... Oh, I'll come back to
Top of the Pops thing.
No.
No.
It was all the firms, all the big businesses.
Interfirms.
No. ESB and the like would have a musical variety show.
Mark and
Yeah.
a Farmer.
No. Anyway, we'll come back to it. It was similar, but on
Nostalgia, yeah. There was always something going on in all the estates.
And that's what community is about. That's
Yeah.
what that was bringing people together in a really fun way.
It was, and there's a lot of things of music, and especially music. Like what you
yeah.
were doing on the street, I loved watching the videos. I said, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, and
Having a laugh.
there was an incident that happened that unfortunately it didn't happen, and I was freaking raging. It was in a state celebrating, and I says, "You should do it." I said, "I'll supply the equipment and the music for you." And I said, "Yeah, everything was dealt with." And then I said, "No,
Why?
just didn't want it." You know, they thought it was a big take on, but it's not. You know, but there a lot of other estates do have, including your own. Like every time you pass, I know it's a different tenants. When you pass the fairy garden, you see them smile.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know why.
It's cheerful, and that's
Yeah.
we need more kind of bright things
Do you
and
ever,
cheerful.
what just Paddy said, or do you ever get frustrated by sometimes that people just lack empathy or enthusiasm or aren't bothered?
Every day of the week.
Yes. Yeah. So how do you
Like
deal
what
with
you're
that?
saying is they don't bother the whole.
Do you know
Yeah.
what? That's not that their journey is not my journey. My journey is to do what I'm doing
Yeah.
and be.
Yeah.
Now, do I sometimes sit on my sofa and cry my eyes out and feel, oh Jesus Christ Almighty, this is hard? Or yeah, because I'm human and I don't go around with boundless. Sometimes I hit a wall and go, fuck, I need a bit of me time. You get burnt out with stuff. Of course you do. That's normal. But then you sit down, you do the things that feed your soul again, and maybe in a different, maybe you just need to step back from that thing, go off and do something else to, you know, to get your levels back up, and then start to keep going. Don't give up.
Yeah, because to do the work, you're not looking for praise, you're not looking for
No.
medals,
No.
but it does feed something.
Yeah.
It does.
I feel
nourish.
really happy inside when I
nourishes.
do it.
Yeah.
And that's not savage. That's not doing an act and wanting praise. That's altruistic.
Do you know one of my favourite things in the world to do is to go litter picking? When I walk the dogs, I take a litter picking,
Rubbish.
and that's complete rubbish. Love it. I'll go to the beach. I'll do a litter pick on the beach and stuff like that, and it just feels like the world has clearer energy when I do it, and I do as well. I feel
You see, I would be screaming at some person literally.
You could get mad about those things and go, why did that
Yeah,
fecker
but I
throw
wouldn't
that
pick it up.
there?
You pick it up. I go, look at that, look at that, look at that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every Monday.
I levitate. But you're out there picking it up. You see.
And then I come back
I'm
and
a
I'm like,
bad
oh,
person.
does that look great now? That's all clean. Yeah, especially on a Monday around by Pierce Park, you'll have people coming home from the clubs. You'll find that's a bad day for. And I see other people. There's grandparents around there that could take their little toddler grandkids out and do a little pick. I love seeing them out and about.
I think it's
yeah,
good. Now,
Wow.
it sounds very serious. I'm a bit scared now.
I'm scared for you. Because I know where it's going.
Where is he going?
your late mum and dad,
Yes.
Sunshine Bar.
Oh God, right. Mum and me actually, not dad.
But
Dad was a mushroom farmer.
That was a very, very popular pub.
Yeah,
Now, if anyone wants to know, the Sunshine Bar was originally Paddy Hamill's bar.
was.
My father played in it,
Oh, did he?
and there was big sing-songs in it many a night.
Yeah.
My uncle played in it. And then all of a sudden becomes a Sunshine Bar, and there was music in the... Before beer gardens.
Do you know there was someone in between? There was a guy had it for about a year, and it was called the Cooper's Inn for a year in between.
Oh.
What year were you there?
I'm sure Was it McSorley's?
McSorley's was there as well.
Yeah, so
but
it was
originally
McSorley's.
people would know it
But
as
it was
Paddy
Hamill's
Hamill's.
back, yeah.
It was McSorley's.
That was an amazing time in my life. I was very young.
Unbelievable. But I think the funniest, if people remember the Sunshine Bar, you had rock bands, punk bands and everything. And there was one thing, we were recording the Sunshine Hour, and I still laugh to this day every time I think of it. You had all these punk guys, rockers and everything. And
I can see you with them weekend.
oh yeah, in the bar the whole lot. And they're setting up the gear to really give it all, the bad language a whole lot. And then you were saying when the Simpsons came on, they dropped everything and then watched it.
Yeah, that and Father Ted.
Father
So
Ted.
on a Friday night.
What year were you there?
About 94 to 98.
That's the exact year I was in Dublin at college. So I missed a lot of them.
You missed.
Because all the
Excellent.
heads I hung around with were in there.
Yeah.
Jerry, Robbie, they all were there.
Yeah.
And when I come back...
Pretty sure you must have come in once, no?
I was in several times.
Yeah, you were there.
But I was
Don't
bouncing around-
remember.
I was bouncing around Dublin.
Yeah.
I wasn't in Dundalk.
Yeah, they didn't become
so
a-
literally, you were there the years of my degree.
Right, okay.
I know
it was,
I know there are good bars in Bridge Street. Bridge Street was always a great place. But I think the Sunshine Bar lifted it that wee bit at
But
the
it was
time.
different.
just at that time, maybe.
Yeah, but
It was
you were
something
going for a
different.
different crowd, a different
Yeah.
dynamic, a different age range. You hit it at the right time.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable,
Wow.
like passing. The alleyway or the gateway was open.
Jammers.
And you look in, it was packed, and
Yeah.
the band playing.
Yeah.
I was in it a couple of times and stuff. I said, Jesus, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Did they not hear about me?
Did you not play? Did you not play in the
I
Sunshine?
heard about it.
I
It
did.
wasn't
I
over
did,
there.
yeah.
I studied with a band once.
Okay.
And every time I pass it, you can still see that we cover shed.
What is it now? Is it closed now? Is it?
It's
is it-
well,
oh,
it was an Asian shop.
What was it before that?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, before was it before that? After it was a.
Was that a business?
I mean, I'd say. Yeah.
Harmony Products.
Yes.
Oh, it was it.
Yeah, but yeah.
I
Is
went
that
in
the
for a
place?
candidate- I went in for a candidate, no wick.
Yeah, I remember.
Explain later. Oh, he wouldn't understand it.
I
Oh, no,
remember
very innocent.
an old woman going in one time to it mistakenly, and she was looking around, and the guy was serving someone, and she says, "I'm looking for a dildo."
What?
Right? I'm looking for a dildo, and your man says they're on the wall down there. I see a man serving someone. He says, "Are they all different price? Yeah, different prices."
Charged by the inch, ready?
Your man comes
that's
in, your man
serious.
goes
Sorry,
in,
I'm
your man
sorry.
comes in and says,
I'm so sorry.
your man comes in and says to the old woman, "Well, if you pick one, yeah, I want that red one. You can't have that." Thought you said it was for sale. He says, "That's the extinguisher."
That's off YouTube. It was nice knowing you.
But anyway,
Yeah, so it was that.
it was the
But
sex
tell us.
sex
It's
shop
actually an
that
apartment, I think.
always had brown
How
bags
did
for
you
your
arrive
head.
at the Sunshine Bar? How did it happen?
Um,
Were you publicans beforehand? Did you have any experience?
Mum had worked in her 20s, I think, and did a bit of bar work. No, I was working in Dublin. We had B&Bs in town, so we had one on the top of the racecourse road there. We had one in Drogheda. So that was, my mum was real entrepreneurial. She had, she started off, she had a play school up in Clotterhead, and then the B&Bs, and then next thing came a pub, and then came two pubs, and then came two pubs and the shop, all on Bird Street.
Where was the two pub?
So we had a Sunshine, then we had Wiseman's. So we bought the pub off
right.
the Wiseman's. So I would have been, Mum and me would have been the Sunshine, and then she went on to get Wiseman's, and then she had got cancer this time. She decided it was a great idea to get the corner shop, which would have been the taxi company in the corner, like and cabs.
Right.
Oh yes.
So one day, Jerry Faulkner came out of his apartment, and I had just called in to see my mum. She said, "Stand there behind the shop counter. I'm going for my lunch." So Jerry walked in to buy something in the shop, and I served him. And then he walked out and did something, and she said, "That's grand." And I went down to Sunshine, and I stepped in behind the bar of Sunshine. And 5 minutes later, Jerry walked in behind and said, "It was like, Jesus, you're everywhere." And served him a pint. And I walked out there, went down to Wiseman's, stepped in behind the bar for Wiseman's, and then he came in for a pint in Wiseman's.
So what are you
And he
saying,
was
Jerry
like-
is a drink problem?
Jerry was like, "Oh my God, what the hell? This is
I
too
know
freaky."
what Jerry was thinking. That's some fun.
I'll go back home again.
And the back of Wiseman's was the Tumbleweed studio.
Yes.
Yes,
So Derek.
I remember that. I remember recording it.
But out the back then,
Singing.
when we took over, there was full-size snooker tables out the back, so people
That's
used to
right,
come
yeah.
in and play. And then I started running gigs, later
Where's
gigs,
Wiseman's, lads? I can't
facing the
remember.
Castletown
Bennett's.
Road.
It's where Peter Bennett's is.
Oh, Peter Bennett's.
Yeah.
Oh, right, yes. Okay.
It's originally back to the original
Name,
that
yeah,
was Peter Bennett's.
yeah, before Wiseman's.
Yeah.
So I turned that into it. And then Derek was looking for a space to use a recording studio, so he
Derek
came in,
Turner.
Derek Turner
Excellent.
of the Spirit Store fame, and he came in and set up. So people would be wandering in every evening, coming in to record out the back as well. Then as well, and we used to do gigs in it as well.
We done a couple of albums in that.
With Derek down there.
Yeah.
When it was in Wiseman's or when he moved across the
No,
road?
Wiseman's, and
Okay.
then he moved over to
Yeah.
Grinnell's.
Yes.
And Grinnell's,
Was that a tumbleweed?
that was Tumbleweed
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
It was down the alleyway, and it became then a laundrette.
Oh.
I think it was still a laundrette when Derek was there, but he was down the back.
Okay.
And some great, now Jason that done all the work on it, he has a studio in Carneyford called The Shop. Because
Oh.
it's a shop his mother used to own it, and he's just inside it.
Oh, I didn't
His
know there
late
was one
man
there.
used to own. Oh, great. And his daddy had a shop. But a lot of greats. I seen it in the Tumbleweed studio at 3 o'clock in the morning putting harmony down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he'd be
And
working
there-
late.
And there was no drink or anything then.
Yeah.
I was. No, it wasn't. No, it was fantastic, you know, because we thought this is great. You know,
You see, when people are energized, when people are.
You don't feel tired when
No,
you're doing
you
stuff
don't.
you love. You go
I
for
moved
days.
into a house in Charles Street in '83, and we had a C scheme formed. Footsteps Theatre Company. Myself and Brian McManus.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a manager, and we were down in Stella Morris. Jerry Faulkner was with us. And we started off in Cox's doing plays, and that's how that developed. But I remember moving into Chapel Street in the early '90s, and the house was just a hub and a heave of creativeness.
Yeah.
We rehearsed it. They wrote music in it. They played music in it. We rehearsed scripts. We wrote scripts. It was just, and that, when I recall that time, and I get that buzz from when I talk to you and when we're talking now about the Sunshine Bar, that size, guys, that energy, that you remember in your youth or at a particular time in your life,
Yeah.
but you still have an abundance because you're going forward with it all the time. And I look back like an old fella going, oh, Jesus, wasn't it great? But I go back to Chapel Street, and I often cite it, and my daughter's now 18. I said, if you were there, you would have understood what was going on. In this wee house in Chapel Street, just the bounce of electric energy.
Yeah.
You know, Alan Anderson was there. It was a formula of so many different wee bands, groups, theatres, pub dramas.
yeah.
Yeah.
Steady.
Remember.
So when I'm telling you,
Was
about
mass productions? Was that, did that come out
Mass
of there?
productions,
It was
yeah.
mass productions,
Yeah,
yeah.
it came out of that.
And then
It became,
and,
yeah, back
and then
to-
in 87 there was so many musicians unemployed that Constance Short put in for a scheme for musicians.
That's right.
And it
She was our first. She was our first.
The artist, Constance, she's an
She was
artist.
the
Yeah.
first arts officer. She
Yeah.
was one of the first arts officers in Ireland.
Wow.
And Louth County Council had one of the first arts officers. And Constance Short was our first arts officer.
we
What?
went to
That was
do you
progressive.
Yeah.
do you remember where Harry Lee had his first shoe shop?
Now, the first one or the one that was beside the town hall?
Beside the town hall.
Yeah, there.
Well, along that there was old wooden
Oh,
buildings.
that's where it was.
Yeah.
I worked in there.
That was her
Mary Sullivan.
office.
That was the arts officers down there.
And we were given, imagine 1987, we were given 2 dressing rooms in the town hall as a practice area. We bought a 4-track recorder, and we were putting in, there was Bobby Robinson, Gino Law, the rest of them, Harry Harty, my brother Michael, there was Niall Fitzpatrick, we were all there. And we used to get 25 punts a day expenses.
That was very good.
It was
Wow.
unreal. Now you still get your scheme money, and the 25 punts a day, we would school together, the whole lot of us, and buy a drum machine
Equipment.
to put down.
Between the whole lot, you didn't get it each. Between the whole lot, you
Oh no,
25.
25 each. a
Each?
day,
A day?
Yeah,
Museums?
yeah.
What about-
It was expenses to buy stuff.
Expense, you get 3 lunches. You get 20 lunches for that.
Oh, sure, I know.
89.
And then we had to sell ourselves we had.
No, we're downhill fast, isn't it,
Down
Paddy?
to the sunshine.
And I come with a discount.
We went down to the sunshine, Bob. No. To really promote ourselves, we went to schools and we told the school that we were having an afternoon in the town hall, which held 750. Then. And it was 50p in. And we were on the stage, and I would explain the electric instruments, what we were playing to the kids. And then Desi Wilkinson, you know, the famous flute player, Desi was on it as well. He would introduce the acoustic ones, and we'd talk away, and then we'd play a load of songs, and I thought it was fantastic. And then one day she says, I have a bit of a surprise for you. So we were there anyway, and she handed us tapes. At the time it was tapes. Mick Hanley, the famous Past the Point of Rescue, right? She says, I want you to learn those 3 songs, the whole lot of it. So we did. And Mick Hanley arrives at the gig, came on the stage, we done it, and Keith O'Donnell, he's a sax player. He used to be with the real McCoy. I used to stand at Delphi looking at him, and now he's on the same stage. And great write-ups about it, the whole lot. And it was fantastic to know when I met Hal Ketchum he's dead now, Hal Ketchum a couple of years later, that we were talking about Mick Hanley.
Oh.
You know, and I showed him a photograph, and I said, I was on stage with Mick.
Wow.
That's on the line then again of community activity.
Community, it was brilliant. It was going great up until I was a community worker in Cox's Domain, and I went to a meeting in the town hall about having a musician's place. There was €50,000 spent on equipment, which is still lying in the town hall.
Which is now probably redundant.
It's obsolete.
Obsolete.
Wow.
That was drums, bass, the whole lot. All equipment. There was recording equipment, everything.
Wow.
And
Where did it falter, Paddy? What happened?
it faltered where...
My head's going to overdrive now, thinking, what should I do? If
Oh, yeah, I could hear the cogs. I could hear it. Where are they?
I hate to see things sitting around going to waste.
It all faltered where if you stand in Church Street and look at Carroll buildings, or the factory over the house was.
Carol's, yeah.
Well, as you go in the gate, you'll see a building at the top.
Huh?
Along the top. You'll see windows along the top.
In the Carol's house.
Yeah.
Right.
Not in the house. Now, the house is here. When you go in the gate, there's...
The left-hand side.
Behind the shop.
The old steam house. It was the old boiler house.
Was it?
Windows,
Yeah.
Arch windows, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
the arch
That's
window.
exactly what it is, yeah.
And that's where the musician's place was. It was one...
Hey, wait a minute. I remember that.
Yeah, it was one big place.
I do remember, yeah.
And they were going to cut it in.
With the arch windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, the old boiler.
And then we were looking down the bottom. We said it'd be brilliant if we got a cafe in there, a coffee shop, and put a stage in it. We'd all great ideas. And that was brilliant. The guy that owned Carroll Village and still owns it, you notice around the side of it, Joey Donnelly's car, not to call it,
Yeah.
where you go down and you go in where rehab is now in the house.
Yeah, the gateway.
Yeah.
Into the apartments.
That was the only road. So they asked him would he take the road round by the long walk where the cinema is. So he did. And then he asked for it to be paid for it, and I said no, so he didn't give the building. And that's exactly what happened. And there was a great book out at the time.
That's a shame. So it faltered at what? At an urban district level.
Yeah, well,
road level.
on a road level. But it was brilliant. Now there is the music centre down there and beside St. Patrick's. And it's great to see it. It's great that someone can say, oh yeah, I have an interest in music, I want to go there. You know.
I have a funny feeling though when you're talking about that. And I remember that. happening.
Oh.
And I was very involved with the and I worked for a while in the arts office many years ago. The wonderful Mary O'Sullivan, belated.
And Brian Harton was part of it as well.
Yeah. And
It's Mary with the little dog.
Mary with the little dog.
Yeah.
Snoopy.
What the heck come out of?
Where's that come from you?
Paddy still has her little dog. Is Mary looking for her dog? We know where it is now.
But it seemed at that time, and even I'm working out with Youth Work Ireland, there seemed to be much more community activity. I think back then there was much more activities and social awareness.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say.
But there probably wasn't as much money around. People weren't flying off, going abroad and doing different things.
When we got money, and we still think we have a God love us, that killed a lot of it. The same with the pub drive, same with the Maytime Festival. Diageo pulled out, which was a major blow for the Maytime Festival. The insurance went sky high, PLC, which made a big impact on the parade. Because we didn't have St. Patrick's Day parade for years. We had the Maytime parade, which was huge. Absolutely huge.
Fantastic.
It was fantastic. And then when the pubs were getting busier, they pulled away from the pub drama, the pub sing-along, the pub entertainment, the pub golf. So all that grassroots, where the Grape and Vine started down in Church Street, had ended. And then the Town Hall, everything, the last Maytime Festival, everything happened in the Town Hall. And,
Yes.
what do you mean those mics that Madonna has? Or Britney Spears.
Billy Joe
And everything
Spears,
literally
jury.
became so insular, it died. Everything was contained in the Town Hall.
Yeah.
And it literally died. It suffocated itself. Nothing was happening. Because
It lost the buzz of around the town.
Absolutely.
And the pubs.
You'd be going from one venue to the other, and the people would be bouncing and buzzing. Where are you heading? Where are you going? One year there were 12 pub dramas in Dundalk.
I started to write one, so it was my second year, and I heard
Sunshine Bar.
Uh,
Forgotten or Forgiven. Wasn't that one?
See that? See?
How did you come up with that?
know them.
Welcome to all our
With Tony
yesterdays.
O'Kane. And then when I wasn't with Tony O'Kane, because I was in Dublin, I would come down for the Maytime Festival and I go round.
It never actually happened, that one. The lads from Mass Productions came in and did one of theirs, redid one of theirs. But I'd entered it and said, I'm going to write this. So it was based about the Corrs. And I was calling it The Boars. And I just flipped the name of the album name. So Forgotten, Not Forgiven, instead the other way around. But I was going round to Brett and all those to write, because I said, I've never written this before. You guys are experienced. And here's my ideas. I'd started writing stuff. I had an idea to base it around all the bands in town that were all playing around that time. Yeah.
There's a name.
Brendan's
Brett.
in New York now.
He is.
And
In fact, Brendan was born in New York. That's why
he's down in Dublin. He's a librarian.
He's a librarian in
down
Dublin.
in
Oh,
Bray
he's
or
in
somewhere.
Dublin.
He's deadly. He's great. He's a wonderful guy. Go on.
And so I'd started, but I was kind of relying, thinking they would support me and get it all together. I should have just,
Okay, but
now I just would have went ahead.
And what did I see then?
Nothing.
You could be.
I think the Mass Productions guys
No,
did
but
one as the only pub drama we did.
Because I had a very busy week down here.
I know.
I used to
I
come down
know.
from college every year and look after I used to look after Jordan and he looked after the adjudicators. The crack was great.
It was brilliant.
And most of it I can't remember. But, it was
But
great
not
fun.
only that, every
You were
bar,
too young, son. You can't remember the Maytime Fair.
every bar would have a night on,
You'd walk around
Yeah.
the town.
and the night.
The place would be
Tuesday, Wednesday, the middle of the week, like hopping.
But not
Well,
only that, the bars had a sing song, and the winner of it was representing that bar.
Oh,
Fabulous.
that
But when that was
Brilliant.
lost, when that ground force was lost,
That was sponsored by
it died.
Hazar Vodka.
It was many sponsors
Yeah.
at different times. But once that community level went,
Yeah.
everything else went with it. Because, it was an international Maytime festival. Yes, it was extremely lauded internationally. Really was.
Yeah, it was.
Very, very well regarded. It was up there with all the international community theatres, amateur dramatic festivals, and meeting lots of people from around the globe. And Dundalk was cited as one of the places to go to. Hosted royally. The funding was wonderful. The crack was great. They were always very welcome. They were in the parade. It was great. But the moment the pubs pulled away and things started to fracture, it became insular.
Yeah.
It became unimportant. And as I said to you, the last Maytime Festival, which was very sad, everything happened in the town hall and it suffocated to death.
So,
It was very sad. And I don't think it'll ever come back.
What do you think was the real death knell for all that there? What do you think was the real...
Expenditure and loss of the big hitters.
Big one.
McCardle and Moore.
So like the insurance and
Insurance
stuff?
and
Insurance
Diageo.
as well, yeah.
We lost the Harp and we lost McCardle's. And they were important for sponsorship and also for location, for venues, for press releases. All those big hitters that could get national press cover were going. And they went, I remember a couple of weeks before that you'd have the press release up in the Brewmasters and the Harp. Great night, great entertainment, and national press would be there. And RT were there a few times.
Do you know
It
what
a big
was
deal.
brilliant? Do you know what was great at the Square? You had the Guinness rig.
Yes.
This big black lorry arrives,
All the
and
young
all of a
bands.
sudden it opens out to a
Yeah.
massive
Yeah.
stage and
It's
lights.
an opportunity for everybody in the community, not just international, in the community to showcase.
Yeah.
And the pub dramas were the same, 12 pub dramas in 1 year. And the late Jean Carroll from, can't remember, somewhere in the country, down the middle of Louth, Anyway, Gene Carroll, lovely man, and he would adjudicate with Carmel Lynn, the late
Carmel Lynn,
She was
Carmel.
sadly gone. And that in itself was about. There were people who would simply go to the pub dramas,
Yeah.
and the main stage wasn't touched. But then you would hold the pub drama for the main stage to end, so the town hall would empty into the pubs,
Yeah.
and people would collide. It was just.
But you know what was
It's a
lovely?
shame you weren't there for it.
Yeah.
It was terrific.
You know
was
what
it
was,
not?
you know what was lovely,
excellent, yeah.
lovely
Yeah.
to I had an opportunity meeting this guy at the square, and he came over. We were playing.
yeah.
We were
Go
playing.
on.
No, we were playing with the
Only
long.
for Reddies. Bench spender.
We were playing at the square, the Long Riders, the one we just got together. And this guy came over, a black
Said
guy,
you were lovely.
this black guy, an American, and he says, "I need a bit of help." And I says, "What help do you need?" He says, my
bit French.
my amplifier didn't come across. And I said, "What were you using?" He says, "It was a PV 100." I says, "We can get you one of them." He says, "Oh, fantastic." He says, "Would you leave it in the cellars for me?"
Do you remember that venue?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Nearly bought. That was I nearly
Yeah,
bought the centers.
we left it in the cellars, and
Yeah. Still be going.
and I met him there. We arrived. We met him there. He said, "Would you come to the gig tonight?" Oh, the best blues band I heard, girls singers and everything. Then he says to me, "Would you come along? We're on after the afternoon
The
theatre,
lunchtime theatre.
in lunchtime
Forgot about
theatre
that.
in the
360
Imperial."
people in the
Yeah.
Imperial having soup and a sandwich for $5 in a show.
Yeah.
360
Yeah,
people
I was there.
at lunchtime.
Brilliant.
It's unbelievable.
And then that band was on
Never
after
phone
the,
is
after the
everybody. It's
theatre.
great.
Fabulous stuff was going on. Yeah.
Do you remember the new
Try-
face? Would you ever meet the Newfoundlanders? They came here twice.
Yes.
They sounded more Irish than us.
Yeah.
And I was streached. So you get very drunk on a vodka and they make you kiss a cod.
Yeah.
I'm not cod. There's a street. Up in the Dairy Hill here, they were mental. And they were up for it. And you had return visitors. Twice they were here.
Lots of people coming over from all over the world.
Yeah.
You
Mark
know, and the-
Clark.
Oh,
Remember Mark
He was a very famous actor. I don't think I was
Michelle.
at Mam. Less famous than Alvaro. Wasn't Danny Glover or somebody? Was it?
I
that
don't know.
came.
I'll have
That
to-
came and
have to be
got his
able to
autograph.
yeah.
I'll
Well,
have to be
there
very-
was
Someone like that.
A lot of people came over, and
Seriously.
a lot of people stayed.
Koreans. We had Koreans one year,
Yeah.
the sort of Korean national theatre. Then we had the Israeli English-speaking theatre. That's how Yankee arrived here and he married Mona.
Yeah.
I met Marissa during the Maytime Festival when she introduced me.
Yeah.
But just the energy and the buzz in the place and the money
Mona
that.
seduced you.
No,
No. Marissa.
All right.
See, you just.
No, Yankee seduced Mona. That's how they met, Yankee and Mona.
right, okay.
Yankee was over with a production from the English-speaking theatre of Tel Aviv. And there were regular guests here.
Yeah.
Just the buzz was great, and the
Oh.
lovely people who were regular people who would come and give workshop or simply be present.
Yeah. But then it changed. It was the Maytime Festival. Then it became the International Maytime.
What could you do these days to do something that would be right across the town? That would
Drugs.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
I don't know.
would it even be possible?
I don't know how possible it would be when you haven't got the energies that are there, the people
Yeah.
that are there.
I
Find new people.
I think if the Maytime Festival came back,
Hundreds of thousands it was worth.
the street
Hundreds
games
of
and all that.
thousands to the economy every year. Hundreds of thousands to our economy.
Yeah.
And for local, because they came out in the throes and people saved
Did.
up. People would save up for the week of the Maytime. And they would be at the Maytime Club, the Festival Club.
Yes,
Yeah,
Derry Hale.
And that was a movable feast. It was a marquee once at the square.
Yeah, I swear
It was
the
in
long
it was
walk.
It was in the downtown.
Yeah,
So it was a sort of movable feast. It ended up sort of fixed in the Dairy Hill. But the money spent in Dundalk
it was
by
unbelievable,
locals
yeah.
and visitors was incredible. The hotels are full and packed. Lots of it was sponsorship, but they were still paid. There was still money made.
And what
It was also-
what was the thing that people always waited for, and always run up to different shops to get one?
The Flash.
The festival flash.
What's the flash?
A sheet of paper, A3 paper,
Printed the
photo
night
over,
bef- printed the night
printed with
from the day
photographs.
before.
The gossip.
Yeah.
Oh,
But that was
that's
before internet.
all
you see,
they
before.
want.
So you get your photograph, but there'll be maybe 6 or 7 editions of the Flash. The Festival Flash. So we printed that night with photographs and you go through and see where you spot it.
We spotted it.
And it was very popular.
Oh.
And the last guy who had
My
Cheers.
God, the work that went in
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
But the pub Cheers, which is now the Market Bar, the last one of Cheers had all the flashes from the 60s and 70s in a book, in an annual.
Wow.
And I saw it. God knows where it is now. I don't even know who owned the place, where it is now, but he had my parents were in it a couple of times, and loads of heads from the 60s and 70s
great.
that were there.
And then you had...
Mandy Fee brought it back for the last 4 years of the festival. Mandy brought it back.
Brilliant.
With Pelican Roaches as the festival flash.
Festival.
Wow.
Brilliant.
It was great. And you
It's
had,
just terrific.
like, in it, the Adelphi Ballroom was every night indoor football. You couldn't get in. If
Indoor golf.
Indoor everything.
Singing competitions.
Yeah.
But it started as a Grape and Grain with Enda McWill and the lads, and Matt Byron.
Then the hoedown. Where was the hoedown?
Was that McCourt's Arcade?
Yeah.
Yeah, that became
McCourt's
the
had
Boys.
McCourt's had
McCread's.
a grain store,
Oh.
and they turned it into a hoedown.
Which one now? Is that Church Street or Clonbrassil Street? Clonbrassil Street, yeah.
The barn dance.
Yeah, the barn dance, and there were top acts. But if you go round the back, you know when you're coming out the long walk is here, and you're going round by Ice House Hill. Mm-hmm. But if you look over to your right, you'll see where the ploughman
And the wallpaper.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just from
Beside the
that
cinema.
right to the top, that was the hoedown.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
At the beginning of McCourt, it was either side and there were shops.
Yeah.
And then the arcade was down the back. Then a huge warehouse. It used to be Christmas markets. I remember it.
Yeah, it was everything.
And then the back door took you onto the wall of PJ Carroll's down the long walk. Beside and the Ploughboys.
They used to call it Carol the Blacks. Why?
Don't know. There's the black man.
I know it was the statue.
Yeah.
It was the statue.
Of the tobacco slave.
Yeah.
Basically.
That got robbed from the front of that building because it was sitting on a plinth up
that's
above
right,
the doors and that.
yeah.
And there's a story about this in the museum where someone came along and stole it down. They don't know how they got it down and took it away. And it was missing. It was
returned.
It was returned. Yeah, when it went missing for a while, they found the culprits.
And you remember this. And it was
What age do you
fabulous.
think I am?
165,000 years old, approximately.
Glacial.
Carol's Tobacco Shop.
Yeah.
Do you remember the interior of that?
Yeah. And there's a photograph up on
Teak and walnut.
Oh,
yeah.
Wood.
That's that shop. That's that shop.
the shoe shop.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. Shoe shop. But I was in there, and the smell of tobacco. Now that wonderful, not smoke. Tobacco, not the residual cigarettes.
Yeah, the actual tobacco.
smell.
But you can still get up in the Carroll's building, can't you?
Yeah,
I think
you
I
can still
believe
get it.
in the you can still get it through the college.
Oh, it's
And
just great.
snuff.
And you, how long were you in Pierce Park?
Moved into the house just over 10 years ago.
Right. So the Harper was still active, was it then 10 years ago?
It would be, yeah.
Was it? Can you remember the smell of the hops?
Yeah.
So it was still active.
Once a month you get this.
Yeah, they release it.
Yeah, and then
it was like Ovaltine.
yeah.
It was like a strong Ovaltine.
It was a strong yeasty. It's a yeasty day in Pierce
yeah.
Park.
And that was from the brewery. I used to love it.
Yeah.
There were always them smells. You know, you had the PG Carrolls, you had the Harp Lager, Slaughterhouse.
You remember that? But do you remember the tannin? Do you remember the tannin house or the
At the Domain?
no beside the
Spirit store.
Oh, okay.
It was a big
Holy mother
Hyde
of
store was
fine
known as.
mercy.
Bad.
It was hides. There were hides.
Right.
On Process
Well, a leather
Park.
shop was nice. I was in Mackin's yesterday and it
not
smelled
that.
lovely. Did it
Not
smell
a
like
leather
that?
shop. These
Oh,
were hides.
this is before, yeah. But I remember, and I keep saying it, Dundalk FM, where we sit in the studio, I killed pigs there. You know, where we
What did you have
actually
again?
sit,
I'm
because
not gonna say that.
where that was,
If ever there was clickbait.
where the start of that alleyway,
Right.
from where St Vincent the bookshop is, right
MJ's.
down.
MJ's
Yeah.
Lane, I would call it.
Yeah. That was McAllister's slaughterhouse. Right down the whole way. There was just a wall about that height and chicken wire on the top of his window. So that to smell it and all the
Hasn't changed a bit.
Yeah, oh, it has, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not picking it, it's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, that's funny because in Drogheda, right, so just off West Street in Drogheda, the slaughter place was just, and it's got that same style alleyway going through it, so they must have built them
corral
to corral the animals through.
Corral.
Oh,
and
interesting.
just when you mentioned Drogheda, as you're going over the bridge, you know the big place that went on fire there, the shoe factory.
Yeah,
I-
on the bridge of the big.
It was Donegal shoe.
Donegal's
I
mill, yeah.
trained in a prefab just on them grounds.
For Clark's.
No,
Weinberg.
for Weinberg. And I trained how to use a sewing machine.
Oh,
I could show you have a dress there if you want.
no bother.
But
Nah, the one you invited. No.
and we used to leave Dundalk on a Monday morning and stay above in Wellington Quay. Everything paid for.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Orla,
On
we're
the
going
job
to wrap
training.
up shortly. Tell us what's up next.
Oh, Jesus. Holidays, hopefully.
Where's your
I'll
favourite
do-
place?
Yeah.
My first is Iceland, and I have visited. I love Iceland, but I'm planning.
It's fab.
I don't mind Taz, but I'd rather done.
You see-
but
I have a big trip planned for next year,
Oh.
so I turn 50 next year.
Yeah,
And,
fashion thing, yeah.
Yeah, fashion thing.
I'm taking two of the kids to Galapagos Islands. I'm going to Ecuador, and I'm going to bring them into the
is the-
Amazon and go and stay with a tribe in the
big-
Amazon and do a whole big,
The big
thing.
turtles.
Start saving now and alone.
Give me a box. No, in fairness, you're hitting 50.
Isn't
Isn't
it?
For Bray.
Oh, head for Bray.
Yeah. We get you.
If we end up in the same league.
Not a So the Galapagos.
Yeah.
And into the
Bucket.
Amazonian.
Rainforest.
Oh.
I found a little tribe there that you go in and stay and live with them, and they take you out and they do canoeing and they show you a lot of the ecology of the place and they
all
cook
the
for you and
animals that can
stuff
kill you.
like that. I'm a little bit scared.
There's
I
a
don't
lot
mind
of li-
spiders or
There's a lot of
snakes,
lizards,
but
isn't it?
you would just get all the injections.
Well, there.
I remember.
Listen, if I'm going to be in a dangerous place, I'd rather be with the indigenous people because they're the only ones that could really look after you, you know. So
I remember going to the Canary Islands, never seen one canary. Going to the Virgin Islands next year.
Orla, I did apologise before.
he had to sneak that in.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Look, thanks for
Or them cheap holidays, tenner each.
Thank you again.
Oh, it's great to be here. I
Thank
love
you.
chatting
It's
with you
lovely.
guys.
Coming
Great
in,
chat.
putting up with that.
So it was long enough in Dundalk FM.
Happy birthday
Yes.
for the next.
Way in advance.
May
What a
I
trip. You're
say,
going to have to do a vlog on this now. You're going to have to do something with this.
I might.
Share it
may
with
I
us.
say, you
absolutely.
don't look your age. I
Don't
thought
act it either, so
maybe-
that's grand.
I thought
That's the
maybe
most
in the
important.
30s.
That's the most important. Thanks very much.
Great to be here. Thank you,
Orla,
guys.
thank
You're
you.
very welcome. Now, Paddy, sign off.
Now, don't forget, you can subscribe at the button at the bottom. Yes. Go on.
I'll just
It
be
won't
your
cost you anything. Just subscribe and get us out there. Thank you. Have a
Get
nice
us
day.
out of here.
Yeah.
Bye. Orla,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That was terrific.
It'll be-